the niche inside of that to stand out. So, like, there's one guy, I don't even know his name. His stuff comes up every once in a while, but his videos look like sex. Like, the lighting is different, the way that he, like, tosses stuff around. And so, like, his videos are going crazy off the strength of that. So, it's like you have to find your strength inside of whatever your niche is. Like, there's, like, this white guy that does food videos, and like they go crazy, and that's his niche because he's like, oh, I'm this white guy that's kind of doing soul food and stuff like that. So it's not that you can't be inside of an industry, but you got to find out, you got to do something that makes yourself stick out. Or like sometimes I've heard like say, you know, people are asking the questions under a really big influencers Instagram, and like sometimes they can't answer all of those questions. So like you find a question, you make a video about it, and people are obviously searching for that. So then that's a way to kind of get your foot in a very saturated market.
Native doesn't mean new, and native is something different for the platform, and it's something different from the users. So native for a Meta would be, does your content fit in a certain format? So does your content fit in the format of Reels? Does your content fit in the format of a post? Native for the content creator that's posting on Instagram is going to be native to the content that they produce. So that's where it gets very tricky. So Facebook may say, we promote individuals that's going to build native type content, and those ads work better. Now, what is native is the question. Native for HaHa Davis, native for Desi Banks are two separate things. So to the point that the Big Scale is making, somebody has to actually find their niche, and I think that's the most difficult part because there is no common ground native on any of these platforms. But for the sake of this room, for people to understand, when you hear the term native, that's a marketing term. All it means is, are you making content inside of the framework of the actual platform itself? So native inside of this social audio room would be, if I was talking, then immediately I just stop talking, and you see my avatar change to a Doritos image, and Doritos is speaking through this audio ad. So we took the framework of this particular feature and we made an advertisement that matched this feature. So it would be native to the platform, but it may not be native to me. So I may have succeeded on doing an audio experience type advertisement with Doritos, but was the content that I partnered with Doritos to produce native to how Duran would have done it? So it's like two sides to this concept of native.
Right.
I'm going on mute.
Hey, so Gary, we at the midpoint of the call. I want to start bringing people up in the audience that want to contribute to the conversation. So if you have something you want to add, if you have a question to ask, please. I want this day to be a day that is super inclusive. It's a day that everybody learns or just can say something that that will resonate with everyone else. So like I said, please raise your hands if you want to come up and just add to the conversation. So Gary, be on the lookout for that. I like I said, when I was having this conversation, on the panel, I was, like I said, just kind of stunned at just kind of where we were. And it was a point where they brought up, Ray Daniels was next to me. Ray said, I think everyone should have a podcast. I think everybody should have some kind of marketing arm for their product, their brand, their business, their person, whatever the case may be. He's like, I encourage everybody to get a podcast. And I don't know if he was exaggerating or not. I don't know if he was being completely literal, but I said next to him, I'm like, I'm actually against that. I think we need less podcasts, actually, and not because I don't want people to get their ideas out or broadcast their opinion. I don't think everybody is built for podcasting. I don't think everybody's built for these audio rooms. As much as we've encouraged everybody to start their own audio room, and we're like, hey, get on Fanbase, do your thing, start your own call. Yes, and I think that's a great idea. If that's something that you thought about and it's something that you think you're good at, you think you have something that's niche that people will want to participate in. But everybody is not necessarily cut out to do this. But I think that you're cut out to do something. Again, it's leaning into your strengths. I have a good network of people that I rock with, so I knew that starting this call, at the very least, I could go get Gary and Dean and Jason Reddick and Isaac, because these are my friends in real life. I knew I could at least start a call with 4 or 5 of my friends, and maybe it grows, maybe it doesn't. So Fanbase works for me. Twitter works for me. I'm a good writer in general, so I knew Twitter would work for me. LinkedIn, haven't really found my voice there. It's a thing I have. It's not really what I do necessarily, and I haven't figured it out yet. Facebook, I think I got that down pretty well. But, there are things that I know that I'm not as savvy in, or that's not really my strength. So I don't lean into those things. I lean into the things that I know I do well. So it translates really, really well. But like I said, I don't think everybody should have a podcast. I don't think everybody should have a Twitter page. I don't think everybody should be. And what I'm finding is that we're just copying stuff that we've seen. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are like, okay, well, he did a food, he does his food this way. I'm just going to do it my way and slap my name on top of it. So it looks exactly like so-and-so's content. It's just mine. So we're not being clever. We're not being creative. We're not finding a specific niche that kind of sets us apart. It's just, well, this girl did her fitness video this way, and even though I'm not as in shape or not as attractive or don't have the following or I'm just starting my fitness journey, I'm going to do my videos exactly like her. They're not going to get the same results. They just aren't. And I don't think we should.
You're preaching it.
I just think we spend so much time telling everybody,
I agree with that.
You need to get a podcast. You need to be doing this. You need to be doing that. It's like, well, maybe not.
Find out if you're interesting first.
Hey.
I don't agree with none of that.
7C
Can I jump in?
I have a question.
Hey, Tosh.
Hey, y'all. Let me know.
Hold on. Tasha, you go first. I look like we brought somebody up on stage, or a couple people on stage, Gary. So I want to get to them, and then Isaac, I want you to jump in as well. So Tasha, go first, and then we get to the people we brought up.
My bad. Yeah. So I just basically wanted to talk about market research. Like, one of the things that I work with all of my clients before we start engaging on new platforms, or just trying to talk about, oh, this is strategy we about to do, or you need to add a podcast, you need to add all these things, is really doing market research. Like, where are your consumers? And I think we just do a lot of things because we're looking at the competitors, but not really doing an analysis on them. I just ran up the steps, y'all. I'm winded.
Okay.
But yeah, doing a thorough analysis in regards to what's working for our competitors. It is a lot of money that's invested into market research by 6-7 figure brands. And I think that's just super important. A podcast may be something your platform does. People may want to hear from you. They may want to see you. They may want to see you on YouTube, but is that where your consumers are? So you all are saying, like, great advice. I think the very first step is just researching your market, doing customer surveys, surveying your people, seeing where are they already? What books do they read? Like, all those things, because you may need to be writing a book. You may be, need to travel. You may need to get the hell out of Atlanta and do something else. Like, where is your market? So that's the advice I got for you.
Thank you very much. First, we are going to go with Scotty Bikes. Tell us where you're calling from, and what would you like to add to the conversation?
Good morning, everybody. I'm calling from New York. What I wanted to bring up was the whole thing about faceless content. Nick had mentioned everybody's not pretty, So I wanted to know, in regards to, with more automated technologies out there, creating more automated workflow, the emergence of faceless content, do you feel like that'll be a major factor moving forward when it comes to the production of content? Or do you think people just still need to be in front of the camera, the talking face, talking head type situation?
So let me jump in here on this one. I'm actually working on a faceless page myself. As gorgeous as I am, I feel like I see the value in these faceless pages. Like, as a person, I got more comfortable in front of the camera over, in this time period where social media has been a thing. Like, anybody who's followed me for years, and I've brought this up several times on, like, I make jokes about it. I can be self-deprecating at times, but I hated the way I looked on camera or in pictures and video, hated all of that. This is something that has become, it's very new to me in the grand scheme of my life, where I'm like more comfortable talking in audio rooms, being on camera, taking pictures, doing all that stuff. But again, I was one of those people who assumed that you had to do this in order to grow your following. And yeah, it's helped. But honestly, I think the faceless, like the theme pages and just the faceless content, to me, that's the way to go, especially if you're providing valuable content or something that isn't out there already. So I'm all for it personally. I'll let anybody else on the stage kind of jump in and give their tidbit again, because I don't know who would be against it. But yeah, I'm all for it. I say whatever you're working on, go for it. And yeah, like I said, I don't think everybody needs to throw their face in front of the camera all the time.
I mean, I think it would be a dope thing. I mean, just because, everybody wants to put their face on the content and brand and market themselves as the face. But I just think back to when The Weeknd first came out and nobody knew what the fuck he looked like. Everybody thought it was a group for like at least a year and a half before he did his first concert here in Atlanta, I think.
For sure.
Yeah, so it depends on the goal. If someone was talking to me, I don't have any clients or anything, but if someone's just getting some advice, I would say if you're interested in potentially making it into a brand that you can sell, it's a lot of value in these platforms. So Instagram, it's a lot of platforms. People don't know who own the handle. It's one of those sports handles that I forgot that Kevin Durant owns, and it's under his company. He kind of have it in his bio so people can know that. That's great. But then when it's time to negotiate, the value of the actual sale probably gets decreased because there's no face behind it, opposed to someone actually building one of those type of platforms and then bringing their face to the forefront. I think Vlad TV had to figure this out the hard way. So how do you tell a brand if you think you built the brand value inside of a faceless content and you say it's worth $40 million and they say, well, it's kind of worth $20 million because we don't know if we can actually continue this. There's nothing connected to it, opposed to them being able to say, we can take this offline. We can have you come and speak at one of our public events because they know that this is Shaq's page. So we think the page itself has value, and we think that you staying connected to the page has increasing value. So it just really depends on the goal. Because at the end of the day, people are going to want to see the person that they're following. So content that's viral is one thing. Content that's viral with the potential to expand to selling teddy bears and selling other stuff is probably going to require a human being behind it.
I agree with Durant.
I'm not mad at that. That was a great point.
Yeah, I agree with Durant. Like, people really. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, so Isaac, hold on. Isaac, you go ahead and give it. When you're done, Isaac, we go into True Lee, and then we'll go to talk about.
So I'm pushing back on all that. I think faceless brands are actually more valuable than human brands because the faceless brand doesn't attach any emotion to the person. So when there's a face on the brand, then people are allowed to make an opinion about it. As much as if Fanbase was just an app and I was super like no one knew that I owned the platform or anything like that, I think it would help. I don't think it's gonna change the success of the platform. It just gives us a different path to go. But if you're a Democrat, Republican, if you are Islamic or Jewish or whatever, when there's a face to that, people get to judge your beliefs and your opinions based on that. And the more, in my opinion, the more valuable pages outside of celebrities are the faceless pages. So a World Star or Shade Room or Daquan, like the company that had Daquan, they bought Daquan from this kid from Canada, and then this Jewish dude bought it, and then they sold it to Warner Music Group for he sold his entire media. He had a bunch of faceless pages, and he sold those pages to Warner Music Group for like $40 million. And so, when you think about Super Ray 14K, that's a faceless page. No one knows what Super Ray 14K looks like, but we all know who Super Ray 14K is. And I actually did this podcast with Social Proof on Friday called Free Game Fridays with this kid named Taiwan, and he has a bunch of faceless. He builds faceless pages. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he builds faceless pages and then sells them, and those because it's like a burner. It's like you can say what you want, you can post what you want, you can have opinions about things that create conflict. You can inform people, you can entertain people, you can bring attention to people, and you can charge people for that. So I'm a big proponent of those types of pages.
You just made two different arguments, though, Third. Like completely two different arguments. You're right, but you made there's two different concepts because those pays $40 million is not the same as somebody being able to get a $100 million contract that's going to be perpetual for offline things. So the argument is, can faceless brands be valuable and have you do less work? If that was the question that was posed first, then the answer is yes, and I'll wager more towards your argument. My argument was there's a cap on the faceless page for the fact that they can extend it when you're talking real money and people want to extrapolate. Two separately different arguments.
I was going based off what I thought, Nick. If you repeat your question, your initial question, then I think I was responding to the initial question, like, is it better to have a faceless brand or be part of a brand, be the face of a brand? And I'm like,
and it depends. It depends. It's relative. It completely depends.
Yeah, maybe there is no that value. Just kind of is contingent upon the person and what what they want to do with it.
No, I think that's correct. But I look at the freedom. There's a lot more freedom involved in being a faceless brand than a brand. There's freedom. There's opportunity to pivot. You can get on there and talk about Jonathan Majors, Palestine, gay rights, Trump, Biden. This outfit was whack at the awards.
Yeah,
and create a massive amount of engagement and receive no flack from being the person that says that. Now, when you become the Jason Lee, that's when you become the Charleston White or whatever, then there's a limit to that because you definitely create conflict, but then you're only going to get so big before they clip you.
I think there's opportunity and some pitfalls with putting a face on it. I think both of y'all are actually correct. It's just a matter of kind of what you want. Like, there is opportunity in putting a face behind it because if people like you, there's a lot of opportunity there. If they don't, there's only downside, really and truthfully, if we're being honest, the risk with social media, there's way more downside to me than upside. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some positives and there's a lot of money that can be made when you're saying or doing something that people are people are enjoying. But shit, one bad statement, one wrong move, one crazy night can end all of that, or at least put a real damper on it. So I think both of y'all are correct. Let's get to who was it? True Lee.
True Lee. Welcome. Hey, tell us where you're calling from, and what would you like to add to the conversation?
Hey guys, thank you for adding me. My name is True. I'm calling in from Houston. I also have a question, and my question is, so I'm a full-time project manager. I create a lot of educational content. What is the room's thoughts about syndicating your content and having it across all platforms and even partnering with other organizations, influencers, businesses to kind of grow that space? Like, what does that look like? What advice do you have? Things of that nature.
Excellent question.
Let me say this.
Go for it.
I don't think there's a right answer to any of this. I think you try and you succeed or you fail. So what works for one isn't going to work for everybody else. So I don't think there's a definite. And basically what we think about at Fanbase is we might try a piece of content and it's like, yo, we didn't get any views on that. And then we try a different way and we get a lot of views. There is no one way. Now, if you learn the triggers of if you go to the psychology of what creates engagement, then you have the advantage. The only thing that's working against you at that point is the app itself. Like how Super Ray is. I'm gonna do a video about Super Ray 14K today because he was getting 30,000 followers a day, and then they capped him at 1.5 million, and now he's losing followers. And my point was he was on a pathway to have almost 25 to 50 million followers within a year, right? And so the platform capped him, but what he was doing, post those 10, 15, 20 videos a day and just doing commentary all over that shit is working amazing for him. That might not work for everybody. So I don't think there's a right answer to that. It just depends on, you have to try everything, right? And then just pay attention to what works, get the data on what is working, and then try to duplicate that success or fine tune it. Like once you figure out what works for you.
If you want to be highly successful, just manipulate people. I know people be afraid to just talk straight to people. If you care about human beings and you don't want to play like the psychological games on them, then just work hard. Take yourself through the cycle so you can psychologically traverse your mind and think that you worked hard enough to figure out the answer. I always say, problems are solutions in soups. The answer is always there. When people figure out something, they like to believe in hindsight. Oh, we had to test this and we had to test that. We had to spend this much money. No, you just didn't know the fucking answer. The answer was there the whole time. It's just the things that you weren't willing to do to actually get there. If you anything with smoking cigarettes, all of the stuff that we know today to be strong, they bring in the social scientists. That's why when 30 said it, I got hyped. Like, there we go. They know it's day one. They don't come in and say, what can we do to get favor for people? They come in and say, this is what we're going to do to actually get favor with people. Anytime you can play on people's emotions, anytime you can play on their greed, the fact that they want to be famous, you will be successful. But there are downsides to that. Most humans aren't starting out saying, how can I manipulate the people? They're starting out thinking that they can just work hard and it's going to work for them. I'm going on mute.
How do you balance that? Excuse me, really quickly. I'm just curious because I do understand that concept and the psychology behind it. But how do you find that balance of like, I genuinely care for people and want to see other people win, but I genuinely want to get my money and build my business as well?
Okay. Do you want a Porsche? Do you want a Porsche or do you want a McLaren? I'll just leave it there. I'm going on mute.
Yeah, it's a matter of choice. Like, no one can tell you exactly how to balance it. Like, that's where the market research comes in. And then when you feel better going one way or you feel worse going the other, you kind of have to, you make your own choices.
Yeah, the market research is that. It's like, how do you feel? Like, at the end of the day, once you've done the thing, how do you feel?
The word manipulation.
And I'll give you an example. Well, hold on, let me finish it, because I knew somebody was going to harp on that manipulation word. I was surprised nobody jumped on it. But I'll say this, like, when it comes to me, there's times where I want to make certain jokes or certain comments. They be in my head. They be in the drafts. And I'm like, ooh, I don't want to throw that out there. You know what I'm saying? Not as me. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no burner pages. So it's like, I don't want to be Nick Love, who said the thing that was a little crude, a little meaner than I would like it. I'm like, how can I funny it up to not? Oh, on Twitter, I mean, I could be way more vicious than I am on Twitter. Some of the takes that I have on just music or business or just things that I see happen on a day-to-day basis, like I'm an observer by nature. So there are things I always want to say, and I'm just like, nah, that ain't me. I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy who would say it in real life. So I'm not the person that's gonna say it online, and I'm also not the person that we've had this call. We did this topic one time, maybe a year or two ago. I think some of y'all remember it, but we don't do the whole, it's just Twitter. You know what I'm saying? It's not a big deal. It's not, I mean, I just be playing. It's like, no, people have attached your social media page to you. So they what you say and what you do there's no, I was just saying that shit. Why y'all taking it so seriously? It's like, no, because you said it. Your face standing next to that crazy ass statement you made, or that crude joke you made, or that political take that you put out there. It's not just, it's social media. It's like, no, this is you. So, like I said, the market research for what you're trying to do when you're talking about balance is really just, how do you feel once you did it? Do you feel like you're being manipulative, or do you think that you're helping? Do you think that you're encouraging? Do you think that you're leading? It's a way to take it, and I don't think the manipulation word. I think manipulation gets a bad rap for what it is, but I mean, we all doing it. We just giving it a prettier name. Go ahead.
I was going to say the negative connotation to manipulation has co-opted the definition of the word. So manipulation is to handle or control a tool, mechanism, typically in a skillful manner. That's one. Two, control or influence a person or situation cleverly, unfairly, unscrupulously. So the manipulating people is not bad, like meaning manipulation is, okay, I can get people to click on, I can get people to listen to this song because I say things in this song that identify with their pain or their passion or love. It's manipulation. Like people might call it influence. That might be a kinder way to say it, but it's still manipulation. And so, I posted a post yesterday. Manipulate. Yeah, I posted a post yesterday about why do people share, and it was a test. I posted a post yesterday saying, why do people share their personal relationships on social media? Like, what benefit do you get from sharing your personal, intimate, romantic relationships online? Now, I gave my definition to that, right? And I said that I post, for me, there's an agenda to what I post. So I said I manipulate social media for my benefit. If I post something, it's a definite reason why. For me, it's sharing great information, creating engagement, marketing, testing trends, manipulating my enemies, examining social behaviors, and much more. Meanwhile, everybody else hopped in the comments with the paragraph defending their relationship. And I was like, I knew that's what people were going to do, because that's how you manipulate people. You create conflict with their belief or their ideology, and they cannot help but to respond. They have to say something. So, and that right there in itself is marketing and engagement. You want to get attention for something, just say something against what somebody else believes, and you're going to get tons of engagement. If you're going to say, man, oh, you're an idiot for getting the vaccine, you're going to create the most engagement ever, because you're having people tap into their identity and their belief. And belief is really something that people are so can't help but express. So for me, when you figure out a way to trigger people or give people like the thing that David did with paying the bill, like David Shands did with him acting like he didn't want to pay the bill for the girl's birthday, and they got all mad. And when I did a show, I said, the moment that you guys manipulated and that shit jumped the shark is when your wife leaned over and said, I have a husband. If y'all don't have a husband, let your husband pay for your dinner. I said,
Third had to tell me that was fake. I text Third. He was like, that's a skit, D. Yeah. I'm like, damn, they got me.
Yeah, they got me. Yeah. It was perfect. That's what I'm saying. That shit got like 50 million views on all these different social media platforms. They got over 50 million views because you just attacked like women, like, oh my God, like, so if I don't have a husband, now you questioning whether or not I deserve to get a meal paid for. It's like, it was perfect. I was like, that's what you do. And David and them didn't understand why it created so much controversy. And it's because you're creating gaslighting content. Like, I know when gaslighting content is coming. Like, I read this. There's a post that someone posted yesterday. I put on my stories, and I laughed. I thought it was funny because I knew it was going to gaslight men. And the post was, I'm gonna read it real quick. And if you see the comments, this is what I mean by gaslighting content, right? So the post yesterday was like, here it is. 90% of men can't make women come. I knew that it was going to be a sea of men that got in there and defended their ability to please women, like instantly. Well, good. Thank God for me, I'm in the 10%. And and I'm like,
everybody's in the 10%, huh?
Yeah, thank God. I'm gonna. When my woman doesn't say that to me, I'm like, gotcha, gotcha. See, right. Gotcha. Like that's what marketing is, though. That to me, that's the best form of marketing, in my opinion. Is saying things. That's conflict. So when I say those 4 pillars of engagement. Information, conflict, attention, and entertainment, because it's going to be entertaining. Somebody's going to say some silly shit. Somebody's going to have conflict in what you say. You're giving information. 90% of men can't make women have an orgasm, right? And then that's bringing attention to people that want to tout the fact that they can. Like, well, let me get in here and get my shine on to say that I can please women. So It's perfect.
Good morning.
Well, hey, Dwayne. Hey, hold on one second, Dwayne. We're at the 11 o'clock mark. This is generally when we would end the call. It's a holiday. I'm down to go a little bit over. We got Tall Boy up here. We got Just Pie 808. I want to make sure that we get to them, and then Dwayne, if you want to jump in and say something, I definitely want to hear from you. But we're going to.
Well, I've got to jump off here in a second. If you don't mind.
Go ahead, Dwayne. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, at our national trade show. Hey. Hey, real quickly, I think part of the thing what you're talking about here. I think almost every company or corporation or whatever should have a way of trying to be on social media or podcasts or whatever to get your message out, to tell your story. Okay, it's just another way to back up the marketing and advertising you do in other forms. But when it comes to the individuals, I think the individuals need to, and I think that's where a lot of the difference is. If you're doing an individual, you have to make a choice. Are you as an individual going to be out there trying to represent your company, or because you can be? I mean, it can go really south on you real fast if you make the wrong social media post and you're the head of XYZ major corporation. So I think that's a lot of the difference is that maybe if it's we all know what Trump was doing with his Twitter, you'd probably stay off social media. Let's be honest about it. His opinions there. Granted, it was his opinions, but I mean, I don't know if it was productive for him.
It was absolutely productive.
I'm saying it was very productive.
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Well, I know. Yeah, but I mean, I think it was productive in gaining hate too. So,
but that's conflict.
Yeah.
So hold on. So I say this real quick.
Well, hold on. I know Dwayne got to jump. So, Dwayne, did you want to?
I'm responding to Dwayne.
Go ahead.
Let me respond to Dwayne. Fear and anger are the biggest motivators. That's when you get people to do something. You don't get people typically to do something out of the kindness of their heart or the generosity of their heart. Not typically. You have to inspire. You have to either people make people mad enough or afraid enough. And Trump's Twitter made people angry and it made people afraid. He used it as a megaphone, like, they're going to take your jobs. The Mexicans are going to come over the border and kill your families. These black people are going to run through the streets and shoot you. These Muslims are going to bomb every building in America. And that motivates people to do things. Even, and I say this from a perspective of experience. So when I work on political campaigns, my job is not to inspire people to get out and vote. My job is to tell you the cold hard facts. If you don't get out and vote, these people are going to come into Atlanta and close down the things and take away the things that you value the most that give you joy. They're going to close the strip club. They're going to close the nightclub. They're going to close the recording studio. They're going to make everybody go home. They're going to make Atlanta lame. That right there gets people up in their feelings like, well, wait a minute. This is our city. We got to defend this. Not go out and vote because Martin Luther King marched. That ain't telling you that ain't doing it no more. You got to go straight. You got to go straight to people. You got to go straight to people's core from what they fear and what they despise to motivate them to do things.
1,000%. That's that marketing Monday stuff, man. I love it. Let's get to the tall boy and let's get the Just Fired away before we get out of here.
What's going on, Nick? What's going on, family? How y'all doing? Fresh off the CES tour. Couple things, man. To answer your first question that you had, I think Criss Cross, Jump, and Usher, are the biggest crossover songs. If you're looking at white and black, but if you're looking at black people and what they think is the biggest song out of Atlanta, it probably will be Swag Surfing or Nuck If You Buck for black people. And that's just my opinion.
Hold on. Everybody in the chat, because I know we're not going to be able to get to everybody. If you're in the chat, please throw up what you think is the biggest song that will come out of Atlanta. That was one of the early questions that I asked, like when we first started the call. That wasn't necessarily a part of this call, but thank you for bringing that back up. Throw in the chat, what's the biggest song out of Atlanta? Is it Usher's Yeah? Is it Yin Yang Twins Get Low? Is it Swag Surfing? Is it No More Playing GA? Is it whatever? I don't care what you think, but I want to see it in the chat.
If you're from old Atlanta, you're not going to forget about Criss Cross. If you're from old Atlanta, you ain't going to forget about Criss Cross and what they were able to do, because they were able to make kids literally put their clothes on backwards. So if you're from old Atlanta. But I want to highlight some of the things that you said, and I took some notes as we were going, and I'll try and rush through this as quickly as possible. What I noticed this year for just trying to build a tech show, I had to teach myself. You got to disconnect from trying to be from being popular or a celebrity, and be honest with yourself. If you're trying to market as an entrepreneur or as a small business startup or whatever the case may be, try to disconnect from being what you see with that popular person that's got 55 million followers, or that business that's doing it, because they have those marketing dollars. We as entrepreneurs may not have that money. You also may want to look at also being subject matter experts. That's one of the things that I saw that was really key. I specialize in tech content, so I'm only going to speak on tech or travel. These are the things that I specialize in. So whatever it is that you do or that you specialize in, try to become that subject matter expert. Also find the platforms that you're comfortable with, such as YouTube. Well, I feel like you have to have, in today's era, you have to have a YouTube website. You got to have a TikTok and IG, but you have to be comfortable in those platforms that you feel that you're comfortable with spreading your message or whatever the case may be. I do think that storefronts on IG and TikTok is about to take off. And one thing that I noticed watching Amazon, QR codes are about to be big in 2024. Just being able to pop up and you have it on your ads. If you can put a QR code in your post or your video post, people can scan. If they're watching on their TV, watching, Amazon Prime Video or watching Roku, if you can find a way to put that content and have a QR code, I think that would be real big this year. And then we also have to measure our success in realistic terms and not compete with those popular channels. And I think that's what we do a lot. We try to compete with what the other people are doing, saying because the popular brand did it or that famous person did it, I can compete with a Sexy Red or Glorilla. She already got that following. But as a small business or startup, that's where we are. And then I think lastly, it was two more things. I said we got to be engaging, but also pose questions to start the conversation to make people think. So ask that question at the end. What do you think of this? And that way it starts that conversation. And then I was gonna ask Isaac or Gary, do you think that we should have an opinion on what's trending, such as that Cat Williams interview? Because we saw what Cat Williams did with Shannon Sharp, and everybody and their mama is commenting off of it, and they're all getting views on YouTube just based off of their thoughts. And then lastly, Isaac, the last question I want to ask for you is, do you think in 2024 we need to pose fear and anger in our content as opposed to this MLK, trying to be positive? Because people don't watch positive. And like Isaac just said in his last statement before I came on, he was saying fear and anger is what motivates you. So do you think that that's something that a small business or an entrepreneur that's trying to push their product out, do you think that that's something that they should look at for 2024? I land the plane.
I'll just say, as far as products, that's a little bit different because you're if you're selling handbags, I don't think you need to make people angry or afraid to buy a handbag or a slice of pizza. I think you can romance the situation. You want people to feel like they deserve products and services that they almost always can't afford, or just really cool things that are bargain that they can't afford, so they can have the cheaper vacation or the cheaper flat screen television. Because right now, it's like the best thing that ever happened to televisions is that every flat screen TV can be 75 inches, but they can cost anywhere from $399 to $7,900, $8,000. So it doesn't matter. Visually, I got a 75-inch television in my house, and I got it for $399. So it's like I can afford what these wealthy people are buying. It's just my version of that. So I think you have to create those parallels and those connections, but not necessarily fear. When it comes to the direction that the country is going, I think there's no sense of duty that's going to get people to really get out and do what they need to do. People have to be angry, and especially when it comes to politics, people always look for someone to blame. Like, there's always somebody to blame for what's going wrong in your life in politics. So there's always a bad guy. And so when you're trying to win an election, who's the badder guy? Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? Or who's the less bad guy that is going to do the things that I want them to do? And the only way to typically get those responses from people is to really line it up. Like, if you don't do this, like as Charlemagne said, Charlemagne said this, and it was very slick in what he said. He didn't pick Biden or Trump, but he said, I'm going to keep it 100. If Trump becomes president, I think that's the end of democracy as we know it. That's fear. He wasn't endorsing Biden. He just said, if y'all put Donald Trump back in office, it's the end of democracy as we know it. He's giving you the warning shot. Now, most people may or may not believe that, and it might trigger the other people on the other side to say, I don't believe it. I think he's going to save democracy. So it just depends on the product and what you're selling.
And then just to piggyback off of that, with regards to products and fear, there's always FOMO. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a great product, you make it available, and you make people feel like they deserve it, so on and so forth. But then you tell them this shit is a limited time offer. You might miss out. You might not get yours. That nigga across the street gonna have theirs. You might not get yours. So yeah, fear has some places. You just kind of gotta be smart about it and find it. Like,
that's an excellent point, Gary. That the fear of missing out is something that I completely didn't observe. But you're absolutely right. Is the oh my God, if I don't get this, if I don't get these Jordans, oh my God, if I don't get this handbag, oh my God, I gotta have. If I don't go in Target and dive into a pile of Stanley Cups. Like they're winning the FOMO. Like the Stanley Cup is all FOMO. It's like, look at it. I was like, what is this cup that everybody fight for over in Target? But
I thought it was an actual Stanley. I really thought it was the hockey award, and I'm like, replicas or something. I had no idea it was an actual cup. I was blown when I found out.
I think it's by Stanley Steamer too. I think it's by the same company. I think it has the same.
It's the same company.
Yeah, they over there winning. Screw cleaning your carpets. Come get these cups. You know what I'm saying? They over there.
I got a quick reference drop for the room. So it's a marketing room. So we got.
Can I add something for Tall Boy?
Durant, hold on 1 second. Oh, well, I want to get to Just Pop. She's been waiting for a while. I want to make sure we get to her, and then everybody else can kind of jump on. Can we just get her real quick, and then everybody else can chime in? I hope I'm saying that just P, just pie.
How do we say your name? Good morning. Welcome to the stage.
Aloha. Good morning. My name is PE, so it's short for PE Lani. Yes, I'm nice. From Hawaii, and I live in Phoenix, Arizona right now. So I'm brand new to Fanbase. I just heard about it and caught this chat. Excellent dialogue. I just wanted to add a couple of things. Somebody mentioned us comparing ourselves to the folks and followers in our industries with millions of followers. The reality is the 1% of the universe gets that kind of numbers because of their celebrity status or entertainment value and all of those things. And the reality is the majority of us, even on this call, we are the masses. So how do we build a brand? How do we build a platform that grows organically? So I coach clients. I started a radio station a few years ago, and what I learned that helped a lot of my clients is that you gotta practice. Everybody thinks you can just get on a mic and just have one conversation and the thing gonna go viral just because you talk about Cat Williams. And the reality is you gotta practice your craft. We are professionals that do podcasts, that get on and do video content, podcast content, creative content. There's practice. So I'm a Toastmaster. If you're familiar with Toastmasters, it's a leadership and communication community. It's over 100 years old. They're global. They teach you how to be leaders, how to speak. It takes a while to hone your craft. The other thing, as you practice, just get on a familiar platform like Facebook. Somebody mentioned that Facebook started by, you got to friend each other. It's mutual acceptance. So people already love you and support you and know you. Put your content out there and practice. And create a production dialogue. What I mean by that is, if you notice, the polished podcasters know what you're going to say. Have taglines. When I did our radio station, it's like, hey, you tuning in to iAlohaRadio.com, #1 for reggae and Hawaiian Island music. This is Auntie P.E. chiming in, da-da-da. Like, you have dialogue back and forth to know how you want your audience to engage with you. Know what you want your audience to do. So as you start to put your content out there, just take it in bite sizes. What I mean by that too is you put your content out there and you want, the objective of your content is for what? A lot of people want buyers. You put on a podcast and you're trying to sell people and billboard your shit and do all of this stuff, and nobody's going to buy from a stranger. So you got to grow your audience. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. So you got to build that. So start with, I first just want followers. Just like, follow, and share my content. If you like what you hear, just like, follow, share, and build your content and create engagement. Somebody mentioned that earlier in the chat about engagement. Then once you get to engagement, now you have to get to conversion, which a lot of our podcasters fail to recognize more times than not. Now you're trying to convert your audience to buying, but buying what? So I tell people, somebody talked about merchandise. You stair-step your way to, buy a mug, buy a t-shirt. I do commercial real estate brokerage. So I do my content to generate an audience to eventually do real estate deals with. But what I understand is once I draw the listener or I bring somebody to me, now I need them to buy something. So maybe it's a $10 concert ticket. Maybe it's a $20 t-shirt. Then it's a $50 experience, a $100 experience. Stair-step your audience so that you create trust. And then you're also working on your on-air personality and your brand. I disagree with somebody that said not everybody should go on there if you're not pretty, if you're not la this or la that. That is so untrue. There's an audience for every single brand. The conversion is going to be key. I may only have 1,250 followers on my Instagram, but I convert 92% of my listeners when I go online to buying something. So in real estate, I can only handle 10 clients a month at the commercial real estate level, okay? And I only close 50 deals a year. So do I need 5 million followers to convert 50 clients? If I do, I really suck at my content. But if not, understand those kind of conversion numbers so that when your audience finds you, now have a strategy to know what you're going to do with them. And influencers, the basis of that word is influencing people to act. And I always challenge my people, influence your clients to buy and stair-step your way in. Everything on my platform starts at $8.08, 808. You know what I mean? So anyway, thank you for letting me contribute.
Tell us what people can do you and find your platform.
Oh, okay. So I'm on Facebook. Like I said, I'm new on this platform, so I'm going to add all my information on there. But I am on Facebook. I do a Facebook Live podcast called The Daily Cup of Aloha. I have the Daily Cup of Aloha and the Becoming Aloha community all on Facebook. So I do everything organic. I'm growing my iAloha TV brand. Transitioning from iAloha Radio to iAloha TV right now. So just getting back into the market and kind of getting familiar with all these platforms. But mahalo so much. Thanks for letting me contribute. I hope that was helpful because you guys helped me a ton. So thank you.
So it sounds like you
so much
did it for your own camp here on Fanbase.
Yeah, definitely so.
Thank you so much. You guys awesome.
Thank you. Hey, let me ask you. Well, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll ask my question in the chat. Go ahead.
So it's a reference for the room. It's called the.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see it. Go ahead, Noel. I'll go.
I was just trying to add something for Tallboy, what he was talking about, the QR codes really getting off in 24. There is an app called Blink, and it's spelled BLINQ. I actually just put mine in the chat, but it's a QR code that you can have as a widget on your phone, and you can be able to send your contact card, everything from your name, email address, phone number to forms of payment, links to your social media accounts and website. So I just wanted to add that in there, that it really, really helps, especially pardon me, you guys know I work in concerts. And so if I'm working at a festival where I know I'm going to meet a lot of people, I won't have time to take down their information or them take down mine. So all I have to do is just pull out my phone and have them scan the QR code. And now they have the link, and they can even download my contact card, either if it's on an iPhone or an Android.
All right, so here's a reference point. I'm gonna attempt to make this quick because I know Nick wanted to get over with the room. No, I'm just joking. I just be hating when people say that. So the name of this book is The 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing by Al Ries and Jack Trout.
You better not go through 22 fucking laws. I swear to God.
No, this is I was doing the thing that people be doing. I'm gonna attempt to make this pass because I know the room is short.
Go ahead.
I'm not breaking it down
in the chat room, yo.
Yeah, people be doing it all the time. So the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. You guys get that book because a lot of the stuff we're talking about, it's in that book. So one of the concepts they have in there is the law of attributes. For every attribute, there is an opposite and effective attribute. So they gave an example of Crest, Aim, Ultra Bright, and Close Up, the toothpaste. So for Crest, they mentioned fights cavities. For Aim, they mentioned tastes good. For Ultra Bright, they mentioned whitens teeth. For Close Up, they mentioned freshens breath. So one, don't focus so much on this whole idea of organic or connecting with people because people manipulate that shit all day. I be watching people on Instagram telling stories about their mother having cancer, and you find that their mother is alive and well and never had cancer. Don't get too lost in thinking that the story that you hear from people is the actual true story, because celebrities make stories all day. Again, to go back to where I started, if you understand the manipulation and some of those tactics that Third mentioned, you can be successful. Like literally the example I just gave you. What makes these toothpaste actual valuable? We see one that say, "Oh, I need the one that whitens teeth. Oh, I need the one that keeps my breath fresh." I probably buy all four just based on the marketing. So if I'm coming out with an app and I say, "Well, I'm not like Facebook. Facebook is great for connecting with fans. Fanbase is great for actually creating fans. And Instagram is great for actually seeing how the world looks. And TikTok is great for having fun." We kind of have an app for basketball. So we love all of those apps. We are the basketball apps. I'm doing two things. I'm occupying the word, Two brands can't occupy the same word in the consumer's mind. So if I'm going to own the word basketball and I'm also exercising the law's attributes, I'm not speaking against the other brands. I'm saying we're just different. So you should have us alongside them. So again, the biggest brands in the world, ladies and gentlemen, these are social scientists. They utilize tactics. These are very, 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 very smart people. All of they hold a person's hand and hug each other. None of that shit's real. We can make a fake room and give you guys the fake information, and that would be cool as well. But the reality of it is you have to tap in some of those things. So there's the book reference for the sake of the title of this room, The 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. It is a beautiful, short, and great read. The book is very, very short. I think it's about 100 pages. I'm going on
short books. Short books are amazing. Shouts out to short books.
And Fanbase is good for monetizing. That's what I tell you.
There it is. It owns the word monetize. I'm going on mute.
Yeah. Let's get it. So, y'all, it's 11:23. I thank y'all for joining me on this holiday, taking the day on instead of taking the day off. Do they even still do MLK like stuff on TV? Do they do the church service and the whole nine? Like, it seems like we kind of doing away with a lot of stuff that we do. They do. They still show Little Boy King on TV? No?
I don't know about that, but they do. But they do the service and stuff like that.
Was that an Atlanta thing? Like growing up in Atlanta, when Martin Luther King Day was happening, they would show Little Boy King on TV.
Oh yeah,
and they would show the Ebenezer Baptist Church service on TV. Like it was like MLK like ran the day up until damn near 5 o'clock. And it was kind of like back to normal.
Yeah, he's an icon. Of course, they better.
I'm saying, but was it only in Atlanta, or did people in other cities? Did y'all get that too?
They did in Detroit. They have a high school for Martin Luther King in Detroit, like a lot. Detroit celebrates him a lot. I'm going on.
Oh, that's dope. Cool.
That's dope. I didn't know that. I thought it was just a local thing. That's amazing. Okay, well, shouts out to y'all, man. Thank you for everybody in the audience, everybody that put up on stage. We do this every single Monday exclusively on Fanbase right here from 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11 a.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time. Shouts out to Gary. Thank you. They was giving you grief in the chat, Gary.
I saw that. That's funny as hell. I love it. Thank you for the
we love it, Gary. He knows how to slide in there. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. We really love that. Thank you. So let us know where you're calling from. We just wanted to hit a Gary today. We love it, Gary.
Blessings.
Oh, I think Nick dropped out. I think he got sent to the Matrix because he off mic and he's still talking.
Same time, same channel.
There it is. Boy, where did you go, Nick? You was gone for you went to the vortex. Where did you go? Where's he at?
Yeah, that sucks. I was giving y'all some good stuff too. I didn't go nowhere. I literally leaned back in the bed. Y'all still can't hear me? That's crazy.
No, you back now. You was gone for the whole intro.
He said that's crazy.
It's all good. We'll be back next week, Monday, 10 a.m. with Nick and all these amazing people on Fanbase. Yeah, see. They got you in the Matrix, dog. Next week.
Absolutely. Right here on Monday.
Fucking kids, and you don't have to worry about her. You see? And okay, you going there, I'm going right there. Right is right and wrong is wrong. So where do you...
Wow.
What's that, boy?
What up, y'all?
What's happening?
Come on in. What's up, y'all? Come on in, man. What's up, Tim? George? John, what's up, Jamel? Oh, boy. We're gonna give it a few before we get started, man. Y'all go ahead and you got loads and all of that, and I'm still pinging some more people, so we'll get started soon.
Hey, everybody's just getting out of that marketing meeting with Nick. So,
okay. Oh, they went over today. That's what's up.
Yeah, he said it was a holiday, so why not give it a few more minutes?
Yeah,
people are today.
Facts. What was they talking about today?
Social media marketing, and then what strategies would probably be best